morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, April 6th. It's time to go across the room for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome on a Wednesday. It's not raining yet. It rained some last night, and rain's in the forecast for part of Middle Tennessee today, but it's Wednesday, and it's supposed to rain on Wednesday. That's we've been saying that for a while. Bob McDonald's with us this morning for Cedar Stone Bank. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
And how are you?
Doing great.
Well,
Thank you. Hope you're doing well.
Doing fine. Doing fine.
Well, aren't we cozy here in Studio B?
MJ is just across the room.
I know. It's kind of fun having everybody right here together. And but like I told you, I think last Wednesday was your first day like this. Like I mentioned to you then, it's a good thing y'all all like each other and get along. Cause,
yeah, we hadn't started throwing anything at each other yet.
This is kind of cool, and it's bright in here. Good thing I've got my sunscreen on.
Well, it's nice in here, and we can see improvement in the FM control.
Yeah,
so.
it's coming along. So I know y'all are excited about things, and of course Billy, he still has his private office back there. So
doing his thing.
Yeah. So good for Billy.
Well, we got to do our thing here for a Wednesday and tell you Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, simple banking, simply better. That's been the motto all along. When you started out, did you have all three branches almost immediately?
We had two. Two immediately. We opened Lebanon and Mount Juliet simultaneously.
Okay.
We were in, as you remember, we were in temporary quarters. Mm-hmm. We were renting some small retail space, both in Lebanon and in Mount Juliet, as we took a couple of years to find where we want to have our permanent location. And then Donaldson, our Nashville office, it came along. We opened the bank, and this month will mark our 18th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And so April, we opened the bank, and then September, we started our Nashville operation. We started out with what's called a loan production office, an LPO, and that's when we hired Willie. And he just worked out of a singular office where he just originated business for the bank as we prepared to open a branch there. So,
but that was sort of a preliminary thing to get started.
Exactly.
And then probably didn't have enough business to. It had been kind of slow to have had an office, and you'd been spending some money you didn't have to in the beginning.
And it's a great way of doing it. We've always said we wish we had known how well that would work. We would have done it, earlier, because you rent an office and you've got one employee, and and then he generated so much business. By the time we opened the branch, we already had a lot of loans on the books and a lot of deposits. So it worked out real good for us.
And this is going to be how many years?
18 years, April of 2004, and it's just amazing. And you've been our friend from the very beginning, and we're thankful for you and so many others.
Well, thank you for saying that. We certainly appreciate having you each Wednesday to talk to. And anything nationally, federally that you want to mention this morning?
Well, I think we talked a lot nationally and internationally last week. I want to talk more locally today, if I can. I want to talk about two events coming up this month that we're very involved in. The first is on Thursday, April 21st, and we're hosting a reception at the Fight Fessenden House. And involved in that also is the Year-Round Garden Club. The Year-Round Garden Club is putting together an event, I think the day before, and so that will continue on to that Thursday, and we're excited about that. As you know, Alexa Moscadelli has been really involved with the Fight Fessenden House for a number of years, and they put a lot of time and effort in getting that home restored. And we just want to recognize their hard work, that board of directors who owns that building. We want to recognize their hard work and bring attention to the Fight Fessenden House, and we're looking forward to doing that. Tickets, Coleman, I think there might still be some tickets available. They're $75 a piece, and I know we've got well over 100 already sold. So a great crowd's going to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's on Thursday, April 21, and we just appreciate Alexa and her group allowing us to be a part of that.
Right. And the other, I bet I know.
The
but-
very next night, yeah, on April 22nd is the 24th annual Teacher of the Year program, our Teacher of the Year banquet. And hard to believe 24 years ago that this thing started. And when we first did this, Coleman, I was trying to remember yesterday, I think there were 19 schools involved. I think there were 19 schoolhouses, as we define it, across the county. Public, private, city, county. I think there were 19 24 years ago. Today there's 35. So we have 35 Teachers of the Year. They're all winners. And we're going to celebrate all 35 of them on that night. And in doing so, we hope we're also celebrating teaching and all teachers and education in general. And so we just enjoy that program so much. We have support from so many different people, all the school administrators and the principals, school boards, public officials, business leaders. Teaching's tough, Coleman. I mean, it's always tough, and especially now. I mean, the last 2 years, what these folks have gone through is incredible. So if we ever need to celebrate and uplift teachers, it's now. And so we hope this program will do that, and we're very excited about our 24th annual Teacher of the Year program.
All right, and we still got time to say a little bit more about that, but it is rapidly approaching.
Yep, it's coming up, and we thanks for your support. I know you always get the Teacher of the Year on, and so I'm sure you'll work that in if you can.
We certainly intend to. And before you go, just a reminder, you have money to lend. You get your loan at Cedarstone. You can also get free checking.
That's right, free checking. You can come get your loan. Rates are still good. The checking account's still our benchmark of our bank, and we encourage your listeners who don't bank with us to come by and see us.
All right. Well, till next Wednesday, have a good one.
Thank you, Coleman. You as well, my friend.
Bob McDonald, President, CEO, Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, simply better. 10 and a half after the 7 o'clock hour, and it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Lucas Holman. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you today. Saw you last night.
Yeah.
Fact. Let me tell everybody, you're our, it used to be the county director,
Right.
county director for the UT Extension Office. We used to say county agent, county director now. And last night, we had a really nice event, the 15th Annual Wilson County Ag Hall of Fame Banquet. You were there. I saw
It was
you.
great. I love hearing the stories and meeting everyone.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
That is right down your alley. It's
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
be. But four families, we might say, were honored last night. And if people haven't heard, one of your predecessors, J.W. McGuire, who was the ag director at one time, he was inducted, along with Johnny Mitchell, John William Mitchell, Rufus Riggin, and Aubrey Towns and Edna Towns Word. And Keith Harrison is the MC, did a fine job.
We're proud of Keith. He does a good job.
So, and a really good turnout. I don't know whether it's the biggest crowd ever, but it was a good one.
It was a large crowd last night. I was surprised. I think most people were just excited to get back out and do some stuff.
Well, what's been claiming your attention? I mean, it's April. It's time to be thinking about turning ground, and before too long, setting out tomatoes. I don't know about.
I'm going to encourage people to hold up, slow down. So I visited some stores a couple of weeks ago, and tomato plants going out left and right. And I thought, they'll sell them to you again in 3 or 4 weeks. We get a warm day in the middle of March or the third week of March, and people want to plant. And usually that's a terrible time, because if you plant a tomato then, baby it, cover it up, and then you plant it when the soil temperatures are right, they're going to bear fruit at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now what he didn't say it exactly like that, but I had a neighbor. He's deceased now, lived next to me, and he told me one time, he said, you can set that tomato plant out April 1st, or you can wait till the end of April, and they're both going to bear about the same.
100%. And people, they want to have the first tomato on the road. I understand. I grew up that way too. But the soil temperatures usually dictate when they start fruiting and putting on the flowers.
The thing I've worried the most about is whether frost's going to get it. I do have a bunch of buckets to cover them up, but that's a lot of work. And if you know when it's going to frost,
Yeah.
but you don't. So
Well, the weathermen are always right in their assumptions. So let's go ahead and assume that. And the last 2 years, we've had a frost the first week of May. So we had one last year in the last week of May, April, first week of May, and I already had my tomatoes out. Well, I covered them up, and we've had some issues the last couple of years. So this year, I'm really going to hold off until the first or second week of May and look at that weather forecast. Even though people will always plant on tax day, I think that's a bad idea this year.
Well, at tax day this year, what is 18th actually?
Yeah. I still think it's a little questionable.
Well, I'm not going to get in a hurry, but
Good.
I do want some tomatoes again. I love tomatoes.
And you're a pink girl or Bradley?
I've done both.
Okay. Yeah. I can't remember. I know we've talked about this
Pink
before.
girl is what I've done more recently.
Everybody's very set on the tomato that they are going to raise, and they've raised it for 50 years.
Well, it's time for us to take a break. We'll talk more with Lucas Holman in a moment. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota Red Max. Complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's building pretty good now on 24 East coming past Whites Creek Pike through the Jolton area. The big story right now remains out in Smith County as they work that crash involving those trucks on 40 westbound at the 252 mile marker. That's got traffic crazy slow out there in that section of Smith County. A lot of that traffic's trying to head towards Lebanon, trying to get to Wilson County. If you're injured in an automobile accident, you need Tillman W. Payne, attorney at law. Check him out online at tillmanwpaynelaw.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's time for a change in Wilson County. I'm Philip Warren, and I'm running for county mayor to provide a fresh perspective, proactive ideas, and lead with integrity. Wilson County is a growing county that needs someone with experience who can provide visionary growth and develop a plan that encompasses all government services to tackle our infrastructure issues. I'm excited to provide that leadership to make Wilson County's future brighter and better than what we have today. Proven Republican, proven leadership. I'm Philip Warren, and I approve this message.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on this first Wednesday of the month. We feature our county director for the UT Extension Office, and that, of course, is Lucas Holman. What else do we want to talk about? I guess we've talked enough about tomatoes, unless there's something else.
We can talk about tomatoes all day if you want to, but we can talk about other things too.
Now, there's some things that probably should have been planted. I mean, a lot of people will plant potatoes, the 1st of March?
Onions, cool season stuff, your cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, your greens, spinach, lettuce, turnips, mustard, collards. All those things can handle frost and freezing. Mm-hmm. It's our warm season stuff, our tomatoes, peppers, eggplants that just cannot handle a light freeze. It'll knock them back. Because I've already got onions out. So.
Well, how they doing?
Everything's good so far. Spinach out. I've got a few broccoli. I always have some issues with rabbits.
Yeah.
And there's really no surefire way to get rid of rabbits other than some type of a fencing structure. But I have 4 dogs that run around my property, and they normally do a pretty good job of keeping back the rabbits.
Some people have a problem with deer, too.
I get a call once a week. Well, what can I do to keep deer out? And there's really no surefire way. People will say, human hair or urine or Irish Spring soap. I have heard everything under the sun on trying to keep deer out. And the only surefire way is a fence that's 8 feet tall. And that's difficult to be honest. Some people will use that tall bird netting and put it around their garden, but there's really no sprays that's 100% effective or granules or anything like that works real well.
Well,
to be
guns
honest.
are pretty effective. But
Yeah. Usually that's not the way. See, MJ does not like that.
and the little child, you ain't gonna shoot Bambi, are you?
I don't like the taste of deer meat.
Well, they're lovely to look at, and I get it. People love to hunt, but they are a nuisance when it comes to gardens.
Yeah, and I hit one a couple of weeks ago, so my car is still in the shop. So that's my issue with deer this week.
Oh man. Well, how do we say Wilson County? Do we have nearly as many gardens here per capita, let's say, as others in Middle Tennessee?
I think a lot of it started more in 2020. People were stuck inside, and I had people calling me asking gardening questions and they would say, I'm 55. This is the first time I've ever planted a tomato.
Really?
Yes. And people were stuck at home. A lot of their meetings were canceled, and they wanted to garden. We saw food prices in the store go up. We're going to see it some more this year because of fertilizer costs. But food scarcity, we had just a little ripple, and it made people nervous. And then, in 2020 in the spring, you couldn't find seeds or soil or pots. It was a difficult time, but a lot of the gardeners from 2020 have just rolled over into 2021. They found their passion now. Mm. So a lot of the people that I get questions from, they've just never gardened before. And, we grew up doing it. Mm-hmm. And I remember, working with my parents in the garden when I was young, and I'll take that for granted. So a lot of the people are brand new gardeners, even though they may be 50 or 60.
We used to dig potatoes on the 4th of July.
Yep. Yep.
And, you could have a pretty bountiful crop of Irish potatoes and put them in the cellar, and if you had enough, it'd last all winter.
My aunt and uncle had a root cellar we used, and they'd be full of cave crickets and all kinds of stuff in there.
But times change, but I think things do kind of go in cycles too. But still, a lot may have to do with what you grew up doing. If I had not known about and been saw gardening and doing it growing up, I probably wouldn't do it today. But it sort of gets in your blood.
Oh, it does. And every year, we get 15 or 16 seed catalogs in the mail, and I think, I want to try this and this and this, and then there's some standbys. You're a pink girl, man. I have certain things I like too, so I'm going to raise some of those certain things. But I always want to try some of the new things out because I want to see if they taste good or work better or something.
Well, I got an idea that you get a lot of gardening questions, but I'll bet you get some of the most simple ones from people who maybe have never done it before, like you were talking about. I mean, some very elementary questions.
Yeah.
And then you get some that you might have to go and check with some of the people in Knoxville that some horticultural experts, if you're not one.
I luckily we have some good people in Knoxville and also Nashville. We've got the soil lab in Nashville, and I bug them quite a bit. So if I get an obscure, this week it's been some obscure plant diseases on hollies and camellias, and I just did not know. I forwarded those up the chain to someone else who knows more about camellia diseases than I do.
But think about this. You do have somebody that can pretty much probably get an answer to nearly any question.
It may take a day or two, but I think if I don't know the answer right offhand, then we know the people who know the answer, and I think that's why we're the best connection to the university.
Well, as you look out in the years ahead, gardening's going to continue.
I think so.
I don't know if it will get more popular, but if we have to go with inflation and our paychecks don't match the inflation rate, we may be doing things like that to save all the money we can.
I think that's going to roll over this year, and a lot of our fertilizer actually comes from Russia. So we've already seen a lot of our fertilizer prices triple in the past year.
Wow.
So I think we're going to see food prices go up, and I think that's going to roll over into kind of back to 2020. More people gardening because they want to, if you plant a squash plant, how much squash do you get off of it? You kind of get tired of squash after a little while. And it is cheap to garden. If you had a tomato, just kind of guess 15 to 18 pounds of fruit you're going to get off of it that year. for a $2 plant. And that's why I like gardening. You get outside, you get some exercise, and we feel good when we dig in the dirt. So,
by the way, that reminds me, another one of the people that used to work in the office, Wiley T. Bernard.
Yes.
And he used to talk about the Santa Claus method of gardening.
Now, I have no clue what you're talking about there.
Ho, ho, ho.
That's exactly right.
And if you want some exercise, if that ground's a little bit hard, get out there with a hoe.
And we have
Your
plenty of
heart rate
rocks,
will
too,
get
in
going.
Wilson County. Dig out those rocks.
One of the other things we might talk about, this is a difficult area for peaches. I planted a peach tree at one time, but nearly every year the frost would come, and I bet I didn't get 3 peaches off of that. Finally, just cut the tree down. It was kind of like in the Bible, it talks about the
prune it out if it doesn't bear fruit.
It didn't bear fruit, so we got rid of it.
Peaches are difficult in Tennessee, and that is not a crop for the faint of heart. Now, we have a couple of peach orchards here in the county. Now, you can get peaches that bloom later, and that's what we always recommend. A lot of the peaches that bloom later are white, flesh, nectar, China pearl, or a couple of the ones. We recommend peaches in Tennessee that have chill hours over 1,000. So if it's less than 1,000, it needs to be grown in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. So we recommend, and there's a small list of those. You can find some different lists online of peaches that are over 1,000 chill hours. That means cold days before it's actually going to start to flower.
Well, now, do the white fruit, do people prefer the yellow?
Well, most people prefer, when you think of a peach, you don't think of a white flesh peach. And I've had both, and they both are good.
Okay.
Kind of like a tomato. People do not like yellow tomatoes. I don't know why. MJ likes them. I like yellow tomatoes. You probably don't like yellow tomatoes.
I'm not sure if I've ever eaten one.
That's sad, Coleman. Come on.
I eat red tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know the Pratt Orchard out here. There's one in Mount Juliet.
Breedens, yep.
Is that the kind of peaches they have? Or?
They have different varieties, so each orchard has quite a few varieties. I know both orchards in the past year have planted a whole lot of new peaches also. So I've been at both orchards in the past couple of weeks visiting them, and it's a little bumpy because they 2 weeks ago had some peaches blooming 2 weeks ago. So we could have a mild spring the rest of this year and have a really great crop of peaches. I am a peach person. I like peaches.
Do you? There's quite an investment and quite a lot of work that goes into establishing an orchard. Of course, you can have a small one, but I mean, if it's a commercial, you want enough to make some money out of it. Is that something we're going to see more of, or is we had too many failures or too many problems?
No, and both orchards also have apples, and they have other things too. I think Pratt's has some blackberries, and I think Breedens has put in some blueberries, so they all have kind of diversified on some of those things. We see a lot of pull for these small farmers who only have just a few acres who may put out 30, and they kind of manage those 30 really well, or 30 apples or 30 peaches or whatever the case may be. And a lot of these small farmers have small tracts of land, and they're trying to do as most as they can with that small tract of land.
Well, you're mentioning berries, and my experience with blackberries, and I think we used to have dewberries.
Yeah, tayberries is another one.
Go pick them out in the wild.
Yeah,
somewhere.
those are thorny though.
Yeah,
you get chiggers.
But these are more domesticated? Or?
They're thornless. The fruit does taste different, so it's usually you got to add a lot of sugar to them on a lot of the tame blackberries. They're thornless. They produce really well every year. So when you see thornless blackberries, the berries are going to be 2 to 3 times the size of a normal blackberry that we grew up picking in the wild.
Yeah.
But they taste different. Seeds are bigger a lot of times. And
well, speaking of berries, we're nearly out of time, but strawberries are something that a lot of people, of course, Portland used to be strawberry country. You had a festival over there.
And we have some strawberry farms here in Wilson County, Lester's, Circle S, over off Highway 109. So I think we're going to have a good bumper year on strawberries again.
You
this
raise
year.
strawberries?
No, I'm pretty lazy.
Well, that's something else you need to try.
Yeah, I've done everything else. I've killed everything else.
Luke, it's good to have you this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank
and,
you.
If you got a question, you welcome people to
Yep.
call the office with their questions.
100% email. You can send me pictures to my email, whatever the case may be.
All right. That's part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Bates Ford and the Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns the vehicle. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're seeing the sluggish traffic here on 24 westbound up by Hickory Hollow Parkway, trying to get up to Bell Road. Of course, the big story right now, and traffic's out there in Smith County. THB remains on the scene of a truck crash. Actually, a couple of trucks crashed. Traffic's just at a standstill on 40 westbound at the 252-mile marker that's in Smith County. This time of the morning, a lot of people are trying to get through there, headed towards Wilson County. Hey, both Tillman W. Payne for Davidson County Judge. You can check him out online at tillmanpayneforjudge.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Coach Randall Hutto to many of you and your Wilson County Republican Mayor to the rest. Leadership is important, and we believe our track record speaks for itself. There's a reason why everyone wishes to call Wilson County home. By leading with conservative values, we have incredible schools, safe neighborhoods, some of the lowest taxes, and one of the best fiscally managed counties in Tennessee. To keep Wilson County great, we humbly ask for your vote in the Wilson County Republican primary. Early voting runs from April 13th through the 28th, and Election Day is on May 3rd. Paid for by committee to elect Randall Hutto Mayor.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedarstone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. Whether it's cleaning, painting, remodeling, or simply getting better organized, we have the tools and equipment to get the job done. Scaffolding, paint sprayers, ladders, power saws, portable heaters, temporary lighting, generators, hardwood floor staplers, from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, Absolute Rental has what you need. Call 615-443-RENT. Absolute Rental and Supply. We have what you need.
Showers and storms are in the forecast today. A few storms could be strong, so stay weather aware. Temperatures today will top out in the low 70s. On Thursday, we'll have a mix of sun and clouds with highs in the low 60s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Welcome to part two. You're on a Wednesday morning. Time for us to talk with Philip Etherly about Absolute Rental and Supply. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to see you as always. And we'll remind everybody one of the big things to remember is the phone number to Absolute Rental, 615-443-RENT. It's Wednesday. Rain is in the forecast.
Yeah, it was Wednesday and the rain's coming. So.
Well, what's going on with you?
You know, we've been busy. On the dry days we've been extremely busy. It's a good thing that things are going out, and there again, rainy days is a good time for us to maintenance equipment and make sure everything's up and going right.
Well, I was just thinking about you, and I did see you at the Ag Hall of Fame last night. I think you sponsored a table, and you were way back to the back. I didn't see you till the end, but then I got to thinking, you do a lot of rentals for homeowners. You do a lot with contractors. Do you do much with farmers?
We really do. We do a lot of farmers. Of course, they all are needing some type of dirt move-in, skid steers, dozers for fence rows and stuff like that. So we do a lot with farmers as well. There's a lot of projects like our post-hoe augers and stuff like that go on. Our skid steers are a really good rental for farmers and farming environment. So yeah, it's a kind of a well-rounded deal.
Well, anyone who is going to rent, and especially if it's a popular item that you're going to rent, you need to plan ahead. Because if you wait till the day of, chances are if it's something that a lot of people are wanting to use, and especially at that time of year, You need to call in early, and if you don't, you're probably going to get on a waiting list.
It really is. You know, like I say, normally if you can call in, like if you're looking for like a skid steer or a mini excavator, some of the most popular items we have on the weekend, and it's a dry weekend. You normally need to call in by Wednesday or Thursday when we can make sure you get your reservation taken care of. You know, I had it happen this past Saturday several times. There's people calling and say, "Hey, I need this." I'm like, "Well, we're out right now, but you know, we'll have some back starting Monday morning." And Monday mornings are always a really hectic time at Absolute because there are people more of the contractors who have made a reservation for the week deal to go out, and then all of a sudden, you know, we're trying to get the influx of all the weekend stuff coming back in, and then getting ready to go right back out for the contractor. So Mondays mornings are a very hectic morning for us.
Don't call on Monday morning if you can call any other time.
Well, it is. We had a new guy start on Monday morning, and his eyes, you know, you could just tell he had deer in the headlight looks, and I was like, this is not the way it always is, but right now, you know, Monday mornings it is the way it is.
Well, it's really a lot in planning. It helps everybody if you can just plan ahead. But now there are times when you have an emergency, and I'm sure you understand. I know you're going to work with them if you can, but just to make it go better, plan ahead, call early, reserve it, and that helps everybody.
It does make it easy. Like I said, if we've got it, we'll sure take care of you, but to make sure you have it, if you'll call and make a reservation.
And don't forget the the delivery for a nominal price. But I mean, it takes time and it takes a little gas, and gas is more expensive now, but you're glad to take that equipment and have it ready when they're ready, when they want it, and then when they get through, you come pick it up.
I think it really is. It's very convenient for the homeowner and the small contractor to just kind of, like I say, call and tell us where you want it. We'll have it there, and then when you're done, all you have to do is pick up the phone, call, and say we're done.
And you're pretty punctual about that, aren't you?
We really try to be. You know, my goal is to be there 15 minutes early and have it there, and then get kind of moving on. And we tell people all the time, when I deliver equipment, I tell people, call us when you're done. You know, it's not like if you need a machine in 30 minutes to an hour later, we don't care. You can run it, but we don't want to pay a driver to sit here and watch you run it, thinking he's coming to pick up the machine. And on the same hand, if you get done early, give us a call. We may have a truck in the area, and we can swing by and pick it up. So it's kind of for both of us. It makes it more convenient, and that happens a lot of times, and it really is. It makes us more efficient.
All right, everything from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, you got it. And it's not always available, but you got it.
Well, most of the time it is. But yeah, just give us a call if you have any kind of project going on. Give us a call. We'd be glad to kind of advise you maybe on what type of piece of equipment you need. And like I say, you can go to our website at absoluterental.com. All our prices are there, but you cannot make a reservation on there. You do have to call in and make sure we can reserve it for you on the main computer.
Well, you've done this for 20 years. Soon be 21, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've had plenty of time to get the best procedure, and you got a reason why you can't rent it online.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, like I say, it moves too fast. There's things on our counter. We have 4 terminals, and sometimes it moves too fast there. I can be talking to someone, and another guy's talking about the same piece of equipment, and so it's like who gets it in and entered first, type deal. So, but anyway, most of the time it is a good problem to have, and most of the time we can make it work out, no problem.
Well, you have been in business this long. You've got a great thing going. You help a lot of people. It's a service thing, but it's been good for you and your employees as well.
Exactly.
All right. Well, have a good week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
Philip Etherly, Absolute Rental and Supply, located at 1325 West Main in Lebanon. And again, that phone number is 615-443-RENT. 21 minutes away from the hour, and Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Glad to have you with us as always after every city council meeting. It's twice a month, and every once in a while in the past, once or twice you've been here when it wasn't a Wednesday.
That's right. Hey, I'm always happy to come out here.
Well, we're always glad to see you. My cup in your way here.
Oh, you're good.
Well, let's move it over here. I don't interfere with your notes here. We're kind of a little bit, well, we have the just the round table here now, and not the extra now that COVID maybe is pretty much gone, we hope. Meeting last night, you got plenty to talk about. Where you want to begin?
We do. We had a pretty long agenda last night, but I want to begin, though, by wishing my dad a happy birthday.
Today?
Today's his birthday.
Charles Albert Bell.
That's right. So this is a big day for him and for us. We're going to celebrate tonight, and one of the stories about the day he was born was it snowed that day. It was a big snow, and he always likes to tell that. And he was born in a house in Salisbury, up in the eastern part of the county.
Yeah.
So that's where he grew up. But yeah, today's a big day for us. We're going to celebrate tonight.
April the 6th.
Yep.
How old is he? Is that a secret?
I don't think it's a secret. He's 84.
84.
Yeah.
Okay.
84 today, and he's doing well. He's doing well.
That's good. He did have a problem a few years ago, had a stroke, and he's had to, it limits him considerably, but he hasn't let him get him down, and he still goes and
absolutely
worries your mother sometimes.
Absolutely. He definitely does that. That was 31 years ago. He was 53 when that happened. That's how old I am now. So you know, now I realize, back then I was in college, but when that happened, it was, we were told that he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
But he has, and he's worked hard. My mom's worked hard too, to get him where he is. But through the past 31 years, he's traveled. He's seen his grandkids grow up, and he's seen Jack and I go on to do things, and he hasn't slowed down a bit.
Well, that's really good to hear and encouraging, even though he's limited some, but he's made the best of it. And,
he has.
Let me just say happy birthday, Charles.
All right. Well, thank you. And so that's I just want to make sure we said that. But and one other thing before we talk about the meeting last night was, where there were some fires up in Gatlinburg in Sevier County this past week, some more forest fires, and the Lebanon Fire Department sent a crew up there to help with that, and I really appreciate them doing that. When I got the report back, they said it was pretty devastating. About 300 structures were burned, and
I think one part of this in Wares Valley.
it was in Wares Valley. I think that's where it mostly was this time. And
Between Townsend and Pigeon Forge.
yeah, and of course, there's a lot of cabins back in there, and things.
Yeah,
but
we stayed at a place there. When our family used to get up there in May after my mother died. We don't get to do it anymore, but we did for several years and stayed probably right in there where that fire was.
Yeah, I mean, we have too. And I think, a lot of people around here probably stay in that same area. But they said it was tough and a lot of devastation up there. And really what happened was, if you remember, there were some big winds here, and the same thing happened up there. It just spread quickly.
You get a big fire going and the wind blowing 40 miles an hour, you got a problem.
Oh, that'll do it, yeah. And they were telling me, too, that, here in town even, during that same time, we had a lot of mulch fires, that they had to go and put out because of the same issue. So, but I really appreciate them doing that. That was something that I know a lot of communities sent their fire departments up there, but that's something we always offer.
Yeah.
So last night we did have an agenda. It was a lengthy agenda, but a lot of it was more some house cleaning. The budget year is coming close to an end, and those types of things. But there were some big issues we did last night. One that we talk about a lot out here, and we get questioned a lot about, is the Carver Lane traffic signal. There was first reading to accept the bids for that last night, so we can start construction. And actually tonight we're having a special call meeting for that particular thing, so we can go ahead and get a 2-week head start. So we don't have to wait another 2 weeks to accept a bid. We can go ahead and get that done. So hopefully they'll get us cranked up a bit quicker on that traffic.
One of those things you have to pay, has to be voted on.
Has to be voted on twice,
Yeah.
because it is accepting bid, and it does involve finances. So we're going to do that tonight, so we can just get a head start on it.
Don't anticipate anybody changing their mind or their vote.
I don't think so. Not on that one for sure.
But that is why you have that, isn't it? So you rethink something, or you just do it twice.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a reason that you vote on something twice, and anything that involves finances, anything that involves a rezoning or an annexation, it's always 2 votes, because you could learn something else about it. You could find out some new information, and you're right, somebody could change their mind. And that's just a better way of doing things. Give people time to think about it, time to digest it, and then we can move forward after that. But yeah, it's, for a lot of people though, they don't understand why we have to wait 2 weeks, to get something done. But it sort of makes government run slow, but going slow is not necessarily a bad thing sometimes.
But in this case, being able to have a special called meeting can expedite the thing. And if this gets approved tonight, then how long?
Well, once we get this done tonight, we'll tell the contractor that they've won the bid, and I'm sure they're ready to roll. They know their low bid. And we really hope that this thing will be done by the end of the year, maybe, just a little bit after the first of the year. And that's one of the things that I know that, our engineering staffs have been working on for a long time, getting this designed. It involves, widening the road there at the intersection, getting some better turning lanes there. So it's more than just putting a light up. It involves some actually road construction as well. So, it's going to be a process, but once it's done, I think everybody will be happy with it.
Well, it's quite a bit of traffic coming out of Carver Lane.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that it's needed.
It is needed badly. It really is. And there's one other aspect to it as well. When you come off the bypass and hit Main Street right there around Arby's, you cannot turn right on red. And people always ask me, why can we not turn right on red? And Carver Lane is the reason, because if people could turn right on red, the flow of traffic never stops. And those people never have a chance to get out. But if you stop people from turning right, there's a break. So once
I hadn't thought about
that's right,
that,
yeah. And so, but once I explain that to people, they understand. But once this new traffic signal goes up, we can turn right on red. So it'll change that too. But we're really looking forward to getting that done.
Okay, great. Time for us to take a break. Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell is with us, and we'll talk more in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota Red Max. Complete inventory, weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. THP remains on the scene of a crash in Smith County involving several trucks, 40 westbound at the 252 mile marker. It's been really, really slow. And Smith County this morning trying to get towards Wilson County on 40 westbound at the 252 mile marker. We're still looking at a pretty good delay out through there right now in Smith County. Starting to pick up through Kingston Springs, I-40 eastbound. Behind it, you got that traffic coming in from Dixon County. A Princess Hot Chicken now available for catering. Check them out at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's time for a change in Wilson County. I'm Philip Warren, and I'm running for county mayor to provide a fresh perspective, proactive ideas, and lead with integrity. Wilson County is a growing county that needs someone with experience who can provide visionary growth and develop a plan that encompasses all government services to tackle our infrastructure issues. I'm excited to provide that leadership to make Wilson County's future brighter and better than what we have today. Proven Republican, proven leadership. I'm Philip Warren, and I approve this message.
Hey, this is Chase Ford from right here in Lebanon, Tennessee, and I'm a senior catcher on the Cumberland Phoenix baseball team. Cumberland gets back into Mid-South Conference play with a huge 3-game series versus Bethel University this weekend in McKenzie, Tennessee. You can hear all the action on FM 98.9. Because of weather, game times are tentative, so check GoCumberlandAthletics.com for all official start times. We appreciate all of your support, and go Phoenix.
Create memorable experiences by serving an Easter meal from the Honey Baked Ham Company. With meals available to fit any size gathering, you can't go wrong with Honey Baked. Whether ham, turkey, or both, Honey Baked has complete Easter meals covered, with sides you could heat in the microwave or oven, allowing you to spend more time with your friends and family. Serve a complete Easter meal from your Lebanon Honey Baked store, 1427 West Main Street. Order online or call 615-443-4267.
And we continue here on a Wednesday. Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell is with us. We've got a lot more to talk about. And one of the things we do every April is it's cleanup time. Clean up, fix up, paint up, we used to call it. But I've noticed some people putting some things out on the side of the road. And I think you want to talk about that.
I do. We have our annual spring cleanup. This is something the city's been doing for years, helping people with their spring cleaning. So, if you have anything that you want to get rid of, just set it out by the road and we'll come by and pick it up. It actually started yesterday, so we'll be picking some things up this week, and it actually ends on April the 15th. However, there's a deadline before that. Next week if you need us to pick something up, please have it out by 6 a.m. on April the 11th. Then we'll come around and get it. The reason we do that is because, of course, we go all over town, to different areas, and if you put out after that, we may miss it. And so please get things out by 6 a.m. on April the 11th. And it might sit there for a couple of days, but I promise we'll get over there and have it picked up by the 15th. And as I said, it started yesterday, and so people who had things out yesterday morning, we can get those picked up this week. But yeah, anything that anyone has, if you're doing any house cleaning, spring cleaning, be sure and get that out there. Now, one of the things that I should mention is that if there's a house that nobody lives in, we will not pick up things there. This places where people live. So, but we will buy and pick things up. Just set it by the road.
Well, I know this has changed a little over the years. It used to be a month-long thing. Now, I'm talking about maybe, might have been 20 years ago we did that. It'd be the whole month of April. I guess we've got it streamlined, doing a little better there.
Yeah, we're getting it done quicker now. And Lee Clark, his team, they're in charge of that. And, Lee has told me that through the years they've sort of streamlined it and made it more efficient and able to gather and get some things up quicker. So it's a 2-week process now.
But still an opportunity to get rid of it and thinking one more time, have it out there by 6 a.m. on April 11th if you want the city to pick it up.
That's right. That's right. So please do that, and I promise we'll be by there to get it.
What else is going on? Anything else from the meeting last night? I guess it's getting budget time. I don't know whether you're into that and want to talk about that or not.
Well, we are into it. We've had meetings with the department heads about their individual budgets, and we will begin the overall meetings with the city council here in a couple of weeks. We want to get that voted on quickly so we can get it in place. So the process has started, but it's nowhere near complete. And the department heads did a really good job this year. They came in with some of the things that they need. And we really feel good about our revenue projections for next year. This year, our sales taxes are 15% over our projections, so we're doing well right now. And we're going to be able to do some things next year and really handle this thing conservatively. People ask me all the time about about the revenues, and I can tell you this: there are no tax increases. I want to make sure everybody understands that will not happen. So.
Well, that's good to hear.
But economy's running well. Sales taxes coming in and things, so it's doing good.
But here's the situation, and I mean everybody knows this. If you're a department head, you have a tendency to ask for just a little bit more, and in case you don't get it, then you've got a survival amount in your mind probably, and the mayor is always, and the council too, is always going to cut back a little bit if they can.
Absolutely.
And it's sort of a tug of war here, and a game that is played, and we all know that, but it probably depends on how hard you and the council come down on their how much you believe they need that much.
But you're right. I mean, that's our jobs. One of the things that we face inflation too.
And that's what I was going to mention. We got inflation that we're having to deal with, and especially the increase that we've seen in the price of gasoline. Now it has come down some, but it's still pretty high.
It is, and of course, we have vehicles, especially like the police department. They're out on the street all the time, so it really affects them, and it affects our street department. It affects our sanitation. I mean, all of our vehicles, and so we get hit by inflation just like everybody else does, and we have built that into the budget. We understand that, and you're right. The department heads, they all look out for their departments, which they should. That's their jobs, and so when they present to me, kind of what they want, it's my job to sort of weed through that and really see what we can do. Well, it's my job to see what we can do.
Yeah.
And then that's what I present to council. And of course, the council, they have a lot of questions. They have a lot of thoughts too, and we all get together and come to a consensus, and that's what we end up with. But the process runs smooth. Everybody works well together, and everybody knows how it works. And I do want to thank everyone who's worked hard on this, because it does take a lot of work to put this budget together. I gave my State of the City address last week, and I talked about what the overall budget is probably going to be when we're done. And this is not just the general fund. This is also the enterprise funds like utilities. But the total budget is going to be somewhere around $95 million. And if you take 10 years ago, the city budget was $59 million. So it has gone up in 10 years. And but the city has grown, and and we provide a lot of services, and so that's kind of where that comes from.
I think inflation plays a little bit. I mean, it's not.
Oh, absolutely.
We've had inflation to some degree, but not to the extent that we have lately. I mean, things have really gone up.
Yeah, that's true, and we all know that prices are always going up. Because if you look, at our history and think about what cars used to cost and houses used to cost, obviously things go up. But right now, it's really going up, quickly, and that's an issue for everyone, and we understand that.
But it probably means the sales tax revenue is going to go up.
It does.
Incrementally with it.
Well, and also, that's part of our projections. We have to. Sales tax is not a known entity in the future. It could fluctuate, so we really have to be careful with that. And Stuart Lawson, our finance commissioner, he and I are both very conservative in our estimates, and so that's something we really got to keep an eye on. But you're right. Sales taxes are coming in. One of the things that people may not realize is that 10 of our top 15 sales tax producers are grocery stores and building supply stores. So, if building slows, that might affect that as well. So, you have to take all those factors into consideration. But Stuart, he's really good at that. He's really come up with a projection that we all feel comfortable with.
Well, I was thinking of you when I was hearing what they're proposing in the state, that to have a whole month of sales tax free. Maybe it's just on groceries.
It's
just
on groceries. Yeah.
But they're quick to point out we're going to reimburse the cities and counties what they would get out of that.
Well, and that's something else too that that's going to happen as well, is that we get a state share sales tax too. We get some money from them every month as well, and that's really based on your population. So that's something to factor in. But yeah, I think it's good that the state has decided to cut those taxes for a month because, again, there's a lot of inflation. People, some people are struggling, and we all understand that. But I'm also glad that they're going to reimburse us as well, because that's a big thing for us.
What else you got there?
Well, there's a couple of things last night. There's a park that's going to be finished here in shortly, down off Carroll Bend Road. There was a public-private joint partnership, and so last night the council voted to name that park. It's going to be the Carroll Bend Community Park, and the community is the important part because we want to make sure everybody understands it's for everyone. It's not just for people who live in a certain area. So we're hoping to get up and running soon. And then also last night we approved to put a park in Ward 2. That's Fred Burton's area. And there was some money set aside 5 or 6 years ago to put a park in Ward 2, and it just never got done. So the money has been there for a long time, and we feel like we need to go ahead and put that in place so Ward 2 can have a park as well.
Have you got a site selected or something in mind?
Yeah, there's a piece of property off of C.L. Manier, just not too far from where we are right now, and so it's going to go there, and that's where Councilor Burton, that's sort of the site he picked out. So we'll start working with that soon now.
What all you're planning for that?
That one's it's going to have a walking trail for sure. It's going to have a pavilion there as well, and I think there'll probably be some restrooms too. And then we'll start with that, and then we'll kind of build from there. But we'll start with that.
Any time frame?
Not yet, because we really haven't put the bids out yet since it was just approved last night. So we'll have to go through that process and really get a good design too before we do that. Because one of the things I don't want to do is just kind of put stuff out there without really thinking about it.
Yeah.
So we'll put a design in for that.
Well, I'm sure the people who kind of felt like they were promised that are going to be glad that something's now being done about it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, that's something people have been looking for a while now, and so we're getting that.
You got
done.
one more?
Well, we do have one other event that's coming up. On April 16th from 10 to 12, we're having an Easter egg hunt.
All right.
And that's going to be over behind the Jimmy Floyd Center. Between the Jimmy Floyd Center, the Senior Citizen Center, and the fire headquarters is a big field. And so we're going to have an Easter egg hunt there. So all kids are welcome. Come on out, and we'll hunt for eggs.
We got a minute here. You haven't mentioned Chris Dowell turning in his resignation, and I think you I saw a comment probably on Facebook or somewhere. You acknowledge that?
Yeah, when I became mayor last year, Chris told me that he was going to retire sometime this year. He's planning on December, but several weeks ago he came to me and decided he wanted to do it earlier. They're going to have a new grandchild, which congratulations, and he has a son who's finishing up his career playing college football, so he wants to enjoy that. And when Chris came and told me that he was going to retire, I told him that day that I wanted him to be fire chief as long as he wanted to do the job, because he's done a great job. That department's really progressed under his leadership. Chris and I went to school together. We've known each other for a long time, and he's just done a great job, and we're going to miss him. But I know he's going to do great things in the future, and he's got a lot going on out there. So I know he's going to have a good time.
All right, we've come to the end of our time here. Mayor Bell, thanks as always for being with us. I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks.
That sounds good. I'll be here.
All right, and I hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.